Okay, Mike Masato, CEO of Staff Driven Dental and the Dental Road Warrior, returning for episode 31 in this series. Today I want to jump right into marketing because I've been getting some response of, hey, why don't you talk about marketing more? It's something I probably should talk about more. It's a hot topic in the field. It's actually my background. I actually got into dentistry because I've been in the marketing field for so long, and actually I've been marketing in the healthcare field, which is kind of a unique niche. It's not something you go to college for, I can tell you that much. My degree wasn't in that, believe it or not. But it was something that kind of found me because I was involved in healthcare. And I started my career in the alternative medicine field, and that was all about marketing and getting new patients. And I kind of branched into dentistry from there and never looked back. At my peak, I was bringing 30 to 60 new patients a month into the doctor's office that I was working for. So I was doing something right, and I was well trained on this. And this is something you got to do too. This is not something that comes natural to a lot of dentists or a lot of people in the field. You got to go out and learn this stuff. It's very hard if you want to bring someone in to do marketing for your office. You can't put an ad in the paper or on, online or through an agency and go, hey, I want a dental marketing person, because they don't exist. You'll get a lot of resumes from people that are in the marketing field saying, yeah, I can do dental. Look, dental is a very unique niche. You have to learn what works and what doesn't in dental. I spent a lot of time doing that over the last 21 years in dental. So I'm going to give you my insights from now and then about the best things you can do in marketing. And look, the first place to start is under your own nose. I mean, I can tell you historically, there's not a single dental practice I work with that gets enough in-office referrals. And I know we all bemoan this fact that we do such amazing work, and our patients love us so much. They love coming there. They rant and rave about how great you are, and they don't send anybody to become a patient. And then you ask them, oh, let us know who you know. What about your friends? What about your family? Oh, doc, I love you. I send you everybody I know. And then you go back and check their file or the chart, and basically they haven't sent you anybody. It's kind of familiarity breeds contempt mentality. They've been there for so long, and it's like, yeah, come on. And they think they've sent you people, but they really haven't sent you hardly anybody. And this is kind of what plagues a lot of dental practices. They never get enough referrals. And unfortunately, these are our best patients, right? The best patients we get are the patients that we get via referral. They're the highest quality patients that come in. And they're pretty instantaneous patients too. It's not like, marketing in general is lead generation. That's what marketing is. Marketing is not new patients. That's a misnomer. People think that marketing is new patients, and you get tons of stuff in the mail, bombarded from companies will tell you that, we do unlimited new patients, unlimited that, tons of new patients coming in the door, the phone will ring off the hook, stuff like that. Look, let's say that stuff worked, which a lot of it doesn't because it's gimmicks. Those are just potential new patients. They're not guaranteed. There are many ways we can blow that new patient, from the first phone call to when they arrive, the experience we create with them, and is it a qualified patient coming in there? So a lot can go wrong. So marketing is lead generation. But when you get a patient referral, that's automatic sale basically. They said, look, I'm sending my brother in, unless you blow it completely, I'm in. I found my dental home. I want to come to this practice. My brother said I should be here. They're in. They're on board. Okay, and that's half the battle is getting them to commit afterwards, right? That's one part to get them in the door. It's another part to get them to commit. So these are really good to get more of these. And unfortunately, most of the in-office referrals we get fall into the category of what I call the self-generated referral. Now, what does that mean? You should go take a look at this and look at your numbers. Most of the people we get that are referrals are self-generated. In other words, you're talking to a patient, or your hygienist is talking to a patient about someone, and they say, I really just sent my sister in here. You guys are great. She's looking for a new dentist. And you say, yeah, you should definitely have your sister come in, and you may give a card out or a certificate or something, and there it goes. And then later on, by some miracle, a few days later, the phone rings, and it's a sister calling up saying, I want to make an appointment. And we do get those. And I call them self-generated because we really didn't do much to proactively get them in the door. If you're going to make it long-term, if you want to increase your number of in-office, in-practice referrals, you have to have what's called a proactive internal marketing system. It cannot be passive. And so much of it we do is passive. Here's my card. Tell people about me. Share it online. Here's a certificate. Whatever. And it's very passive. It's kind of left in the hands of the person and the patient when they leave the practice. You know how that goes. They're out of the practice. You're out of sight, out of mind. It's done. All right. So if we don't do some follow-up, like a lot of marketing's follow-up. And if you don't have a person dedicated to doing follow-up, you're kind of wasting your time. And that's what you really do. You put a proactive internal referral system in, put someone in charge of it, and do follow-up on whatever it may be. Because if you don't follow up, with these people on how to use your certificate, let's say, or to get them to come in for some kind of offer, if you're not generating some kind of list to work from. I used to have a lead list pages long that I worked on all the time to follow up with people to get them in the door. And look, and I did it for the right reasons too. It came from, not because I wanted to get money out of people and get them in the door. It was a game for me to get them in, but I really cared about people getting well. And I also believed that the best thing a patient could do was come to my doctor and spend money there and get well, because they were getting the best care. And that's the mentality it's got to be. And this should really be the operative kind of thinking inside your practice, is that we should create an environment of marketing and PR, when we get in there. So often we get involved like in doing, the dentistry every day. We forget that, like, when people come in, it should really be our mission to be excited and motivated about the practice and talking about it and letting people know about it and about the dentistry and the great things it does, and how much of these conversations going on over the course of a day. You have to create that in your environment. And you got to get people that are excited about it too. Are you excited about it, doc, too? That's something to ask yourself. How much are you talking about dentistry and how much you're into it and what you do and what you love to do all the time? A lot of offices I go into, they do great things like Invisalign, or they do some other kind of, services. They have a whitening product they love, or they have whatever new technology they love doing in the office, and, other procedures they're really into, implants, whatever. And you'd never know it because no one's talking about it. There's no promotional going on about it. And just putting out brochures that are left by the company lying around ends up being clutter and garbage, and no one pays attention to these things. The best promoters of your practice are you and your staff. So you have to have some kind of proactive system going in place. When to ask, how to ask, who to ask, who's going to follow through, what are we offering, what contests are we doing, what promotional things are we going to do, to inspire people to refer other people. All right, and that's great. So whatever you do, you have to have some kind of, again, proactive thing where we're proactively pursuing people. A good way to identify these people I talk about is the morning huddle. Because, if you're doing a morning huddle, which you should be doing, and we're going through opportunities for the day, looking at every new patient coming in as an opportunity, or every active patient coming in as an opportunity, and new patients too, because believe it or not, the best time they get a new patient referral in your practice is when a patient's new to the practice. They'll never be more excited and enthusiastic about your practice than when they first meet you and fall in love with you and your practice. As you've seen, people that have been there 10, 15 years, it's kind of like they're in the system and they're on autopilot, and that's it. The ship has sailed. When they first come in, you blow them away with what an amazing experience in the practice, and wow, I've never been a place like this before. No one's ever given me this much attention. They really care about me. You didn't hurt me. I didn't die here, like I did last place I went to almost, whatever. And you have such nice, wonderful people. That's the time to pounce, to talk to people about inviting others to come into your practice. And you think that we have to do all this work on them. Let me wow them with my phenomenal dentistry. It's not that. In a patient's mind, if it doesn't look bad, it doesn't hurt, you're a genius. Unfortunately, that's the way it works. They don't know you're, LDI trained, or I use the best labs or the best impression materials, or, wait till they meet my hygienist and what she does. They don't know that, so they can't tell that. What they can experience, though, is the service of things and how you service them in the practice, and take care of them. That's what they're buying. Do they trust you? Do they believe you? Do they like you? Talked about this before. Don't discount liking this. And I really like this place. I want to come back. That's the whole battle to start off with. I believe this guy. I trust him and like him. Let's go back. Then we can worry about. You have a lifetime to do dentistry on these people. We don't have to prove anything to how great we are, because unfortunately, as I said before, if it doesn't look bad, doesn't hurt, it's probably fine in their minds and they're very happy. All right, so I hate to throw all your dental training out the window and throw it under the bus like that. It does count, obviously. You have to be a great dentist, but they find that afterwards. All right, so again, the theme of this whole video today is, again, being proactive, working with your coach to learn and implement the systems that we teach to be proactive. Obviously, I can't teach them on short videos while I'm driving, but you want to have something in place to do something. I have one in place. I talk about a friends and family program, which is an awesome program to put in as an exit, almost part of an exit interview, as new patients are leaving the practice for the first time that had a great experience. And I put that in there. They've had to have a great experience. Don't ask people that had a bad experience to refer someone to you, or if they're terrible or they ended up being a nut, because you don't want more nuts in your practice. All right, so it's a great system though, because again, it's staff driven. Hence the name, and they're driving. They're using and give them an incentive for this. Oh, I almost forgot this. This would have been critically bad on me, because there's one thing to having a bonus system. I always recommend put a bonus system in your practice for your staff referring new patients on their own time. Notice what I just said there. I don't mean just on your time when they're working in their practice. They're supposed to do that anyway. It's part of what they're getting paid for. But if your hygienist on her spare time is going out and telling people at the nail salon about how wonderful you are and great and getting people to show up in your office, that's a huge value to you. And this should not be a $10 Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks card. This should be significant. Because again, going back to the value of a new patient, which is incredibly high, if you were to market for that patient, it probably could cost you $250 to $300 just to get them to show up. All right, so they're saving you that marketing money by saying, here, go to my doctor, and they come in. You should give some of that savings and pass that on to your staff. Make it significant. People always ask me, what should I give my staff if they're referring a new patient to the office? And look, for me, if you've got a good retention system and you have a good, that's important. If you don't have any kind of new patient experience and you're not retaining your patients well, then don't give this out, because in one door and out the other. And you have to put stipulations on it. They have to come in, they have to become a patient and schedule for hygiene and be paying you something before you pay this bonus. But you can track this to do that. They should get, I recommend making a $100 bonus. Now you might be driving off the road if you're watching and hearing this, or falling over in your seat, but think about that. If I told you that your staff was going to put you 10 quality new patients into your office every month, quality patients, would you be willing to pay $1,000 for that? I'd pay $1,000 for marketing of 10 new patients every day. Think about that. What do you get for $1,000 in marketing these days? Nothing. All right, so that it's well worth it to pass it back on to the staff, to give them a bonus, give them an incentive to refer and ask to get patients into your practice. So definitely have that. And this can be on top of an existing bonus system. It just adds more to your bottom line by doing this. So don't be shy about this, about throwing your hat over. Again, like anything else, there's guidelines and stipulations. You put that on there so everybody wins, and they're not getting taken advantage of this. It's got to be a win-win situation. But definitely recommend having some kind of system like this in place. Okay. Again, I talked a long time today about this, long video on patient referrals. But it's a start of hopefully some other topics I'll bring up in the future. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, come back for 32, which will be here soon. And as always, share this with others and spread the word. Thanks so much for watching.